Perfect.
That's
I don't know why I
key.
don't know why I just did this. I don't know why. Yeah. Why? Who? What? Where? When? Why? How? Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I am Robbie. Kyle is here as well. Kyle, how are you on this lovely Wednesday night?
Don't cry, don't raise your eyes. It's only teenage wasteland. Okay, sorry. Just want to get
That's
that out there.
okay. No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, for those of you watching at home, you'll notice that through the magic of Zoom naming tools, Kyle is sporting the Baba O'Reilly name tonight. So one of his many clever monikers that he's come up with during these times of virtual recordings. So always something new, and I give him a lot of credit for the originality and creativity with some of these. So very good.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, Zoom's too much fun. I love just like putting around with it.
Certainly. Well, speaking of recording formats, that's going to be kind of the theme of tonight's episode, because obviously we've been on the air now for over 7 years, and we have come at you from a wide variety of different platforms and locations and formats. And so what we thought would be fun to do tonight is to sort of do a compare and contrast rating evaluation type show of all of the different formats slash locations that we have recorded in slash on during the 7+ years of doing this show. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be very fun, sort of taking another trip down memory lane here as we, again, continue on filming here on a couch talking sports. So I guess to start off with, let's start off right at the beginning, Kyle, because when we first started this show back all the way in the fall of 2013, where our lives were a lot different back then, certainly. In some ways, and the same in others. But anyway, when we started the show back in 2013, we actually, both couches that we originally filmed on were both in the town of Wellesley. Your family's Wellesley apartment, and then, of course, my house here in Wellesley. And so I wanted to kind of start there with the actual OG couch that we recorded on, which was your family's apartment couch, because that was where we literally filmed our first episode of On a Couch Talking Sports. Actually, the first few episodes, I think, were predominantly from that couch. So I guess I'll sort of let you kick things off here, because again, it was your family's apartment where we set sail on this amazing 7+ year journey, and sort of take us through your sort of thoughts and evaluations about that particular couch location, however you want to dive into it. Why don't you kick us off with the like I said, the OG couch in Wellesley?
So, excuse me, sorry. It being our first, I thought it was a good start. That where it was and everything. It was a little small for my taste, though, if I remember correctly. The room was kind of small, but we worked with what we had, and I still enjoy it. I still do have plenty of memories there, even though personally I've only lived there for about a year. Before my family and we moved out to a different town afterwards. and we hadn't even. I think personally, I think an arguably better couch setup, but we'll get to that a little later. But it wasn't too bad for a first time. Granted the room was a little squished because it wasn't a smaller apartment. But then again, there were a lot of. It was, I feel like, our first, like, there were a lot of firsts there. It was not only our first episode, our first set of episodes that we filmed, but we also filmed. If I remember correctly, it was our first time we had a guest on, and
Yeah,
our
yeah,
guest being Craig.
yeah, absolutely. The OG guest. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And it was even our first time, if I remember correctly, we were actually, I think we did our first walk episode where we actually did start there and then we ended the episode there as well. So,
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. All I yeah, because the walk episode came in the spring of 2014. Sorry, because it was sort of fall of 2013 and spring of 2014 there. And yeah, it was interesting to me, sort of that couch. You're right about the size of it. It definitely was a little bit on the smaller side, because I remember actually when we had Craig on, which was an awesome episode, by the way. It was the birth of the Rob Hausler running joke within our show, just a whole
oh
bunch
yeah,
of different other things. I remember Craig was actually on a chair we sort of refer to as the guest chair, the OG guest chair. Sort of right next to the couch, just because sort of the couch was a bit on the smaller side. But I agree with you. I still thought it was, a great, a great room, a great couch for recording wise for what we were using it for. And even the apartment location was really cool because it was like literally right in Wellesley Center, pretty much. You're basically like a 2-minute walk from Wellesley Center, which was really nice. The only thing I remember about this isn't necessarily a negative, but the only thing I remember about that location is that you couldn't really park many cars in your driveway, because it was kind of like, it was like a hilly driveway. There was like a little incline around the back of the complex or the house there. So I remember I always had to park my car, even like when we had like Craig over or something like that. We always had to park our cars in this like little parking lot just down the street and walk over, which was fine. I mean, hey, listen, it wasn't
that
like,
was fun. Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't the end of the world. It was kind of nice that that parking lot was there. Definitely helped out. But yeah, I just thought whenever I think of that particular place, I think of that parking lot and all the time sort of walking over down the street there from the house to that lot, either before or after episodes. And I kind of want to tie in the first walk episode that we did as well, because like you said, that was sort of started and ended on that particular couch. So I kind of wanted to sort of dive into that first walk episode, because I thought that was a really awesome episode, because not only did we sort of start and end the two sort of our favorite, we last week, I remember we were talking about, food related places on a couch. And so not only did we sort of start and end at like two of our more favorite food places, starting at Paparazzi and ending at Old School Pizza there, but just sort of, really just taking a stroll through like sort of really the heart of Wellesley, so to speak, going by a lot of the athletic, fields and stuff like that, like Reedy Field and all that stuff, and sort of taking a trip down memory lane, talking about memories from those locations, as well as, just we were sort of talking, I remember, sort of Boston sports in general. It was just a lot of fun. It was a really fun route. I mean, we've had a lot of fun walking routes, but I just said route and route in the same sentence. But anyway,
more coming up for you guys in the future. We'll probably do some more of those different locations anyway. So
absolutely, definitely, for sure. But yeah, I just thought it was a really good time, and the weather was decent, and I really enjoyed that particular premiere walk episode. I don't know what your thoughts were on it.
no, it was good. It was actually it was cool actually, kind of just like walking through town. Like we sort of actually. So fun fact about that, we actually we kind of got the idea from the Craig show,
Yeah,
from our friend Craig actually, who we mentioned already. So he, I feel like our a lot of our, or not a lot, but there was a certain amount of our show that was inspired by his show. So Craig had
yeah,
more of a like a comedy show. His was more of like a comedy style show where it kind of mixed like improv and like sketches and stuff like that, and with games, and it was a very creative show. And one of the episodes that they did was Craig actually did his own, albeit more a more to get a more professionally made walk episode where he just kind of like went around his town that he was filming in, and so we kind of took the idea, but we kind of ran with our own too, because we did kind of talk more about like the locations, and like kind of like we talked more about like the fields, and like you said, like we our kind of memories, and how we were connected with a lot of those, and that's kind of, and that kind of gave it its own angle. I feel like it was a lot of fun doing that, and I honestly I love doing the walk episodes. They're some of my favorite ones to film actually. So yeah.
yeah. No, I agree. It was a lot of fun, and definitely really paved the way for future um walk episodes and sort of future episodes in general. So speaking of Wellesley, because and this is sort of a more of a like broader evaluation, because I mentioned that the first two couches that we filmed on were you okay over there?
Yeah. Wrong too.
Yeah, all good. Don't want to lose you mid episode here. But no, I mentioned, like I said, our show really did originate in Wellesley, and has still kind of persevered over the years in the town of Wellesley, because obviously the second OG couch is my couch, at my house here in Wellesley, and obviously that couch is really is still thriving on, still going strong here even after 7 years. So I mean, hey, listen, I've really enjoyed the opportunity to film our episodes from my house and from that particular couch that we've been able to film on. I know we've switched up a couple of couches in the house for some episodes and stuff like that. We'll get into another particular location in the house that we also filmed in later on here. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the opportunity to film some episodes here. We've had some guests on here. I know our friend Doug has made several of his guest appearances here. We've had our buddy Sky has also been a guest from my house, and just my sister. Obviously, you can't forget about my sister Sarah. Also jumping on some episodes here. It's been a really good time. We've also done some really cool sort of bits from this house. I remember our card episode when Kyle and I played each other at cards. We did that here, and ping pong and all these different things.
Yep.
So I guess honestly, Kyle, and I guess let me put it this way, because like I said, we have done sort of during this whole last year of sort of pandemic era filming. We actually did do one other episode from my house, which was down in my basement. We were both on chairs and
Oh yeah.
recording down there. So I guess let's kind of turn this into just sort of evaluation of filming in my house in general. Sort of just between the couch, and down the basement and all that different stuff. Sort of, what are your thoughts on this particular location as it has evolved throughout the years?
Well, I mean, I always thought your house had really good lighting, and the couch is super comfortable. So it's like I really have no complaints about it. I think it's one of the better locations, to be honest. And it was cool. Like that one time we filmed in the basement, because your basement is so sports heavy. Like you got like the ping pong table there. You got like a lot of like some cool stuff on the walls. So I thought that was actually a very different experience too. Albeit not quite as
I think we
comfortable as.
technically filmed. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think technically we filmed down there twice because we filmed the ping pong bit down there, and then of course the full episode a few months back down there as well. So we've had a couple of filmings that have taken place down that basement for sure.
Oh yeah, that's true. Didn't we have like Sarah film that episode or
Yeah,
something like that?
yeah. The ping pong episode was my sister. So a little bit behind the scenes for the ping pong episode, we had my sister filming us playing ping pong, and then for the actual episode that we filmed down there, I think we put the phone up against something. I forget exactly what we put it up against to sort of hold it up, but literally was sitting on the ping pong table, like recording us. So a little behind the scenes for the folks at home there.
Go back to that episode. Wow, that was a while. That's been a while.
Yeah.
But no, overall, and obviously your basement isn't. I was saying like your basement isn't quite as comfortable as your living room there, but so your living room definitely gets way more points in the comfortable aspect of it, I gotta say. But overall, no, I actually, I think your house is a really prime location for whether we film in the basement or in the living room. I think it's a very good location for this the show. So
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. So I've always enjoyed being able to film on location here, as I literally am on location here in my house, up in my bedroom, which we'll get into in a little bit, so to speak. But yeah, so sort of going along with the evolution of our filming locations, we sort of jump ahead to the sort of spring of 2014 because that's obviously sort of talking about evolution of Kyle's life, so to speak. That is when you and your family moved out of the town of Wellesley and into the town of Norwood. And we did many episodes throughout the years from the Norwood location. Again, really fun time. And I think the one that kind of jumps out at me, and again, I mean, there are many episodes that we did from what is still your parents' house in Norwood, was the very first episode we did from Norwood. It was like right before you guys actually like moved all your stuff in. So I remember we had Matt Noonan on via phone, and we were literally filming from an empty room. I think we were sitting on the floor, filming from an empty room, and you could like kind of hear the echoes and stuff like that. It was quite a wild scene, but yeah, to sort of take us through your obviously being the one that lived in that house, and again having done many episodes from that location, what your sort of thoughts are when you look back on our time there.
Honestly, I really liked it there. I will say that the lighting wasn't quite as good when we filmed it like in the upstairs, but honestly, aside from that, I thought it was a very good location. Obviously, the first episode, we had a little trouble with the acoustics there with the big echoes and all that stuff. But you know what? We decided to try something different than episodes, and we did. We went for it. Well, but no. Overall, I thought it was definitely one of the better ones, one of the better locations as well. I kind of like the whole kind of quaintness of that room, the upstairs room, and like it's a very cool neighborhood. I really like that house a lot, and I was actually funny because I was just visiting my parents the other weekend, so it's kind of nice to go back and just hang out there, and yeah, no, I thought it was amazing. So
definitely, and that house, or that sort of area, sort of the scene for two of our remote, not a full broadcast per se, but remote sort of bits, because that was obviously we went to the two Wellesley Norwood football games over at Norwood High School, right down the street from that house. And obviously, sort of had highlight footage from both of those games, which was really cool. Including, I think we actually filmed one of the episodes literally the night that game occurred. I think we literally went back to your house afterwards and filmed an episode right
Yeah,
after the game, right after that Friday night game.
that was
Which was,
fun.
well, yeah, it was, like I said, it was just a ton of fun to be a part of. But yeah, definitely, like I said, we had a lot of good times at that house. We've even done a couple of episodes here and there from that house, even after Kyle moved out of that house. We've sort of gone back and done an episode here and there from that house as well, which has always been a really good time.
Yeah. And the couch was
And
always pretty comfy too. It wasn't the
yeah,
biggest couch we filmed on, but it was
we
great.
had sort of the TV in there, to
Oh yeah,
watch TV or play video games before and after, and just a
yeah.
lot of really good stuff. Oh, and actually, I tying in last week's episode a little bit here, because we did not mention this on last week's episode, but one of the places that we went to a good amount of times, but prior to our recordings at your house, was Norwood House of Pizza, or Norwood Pizza, whatever it's called, right there in Norwood, and that was always a really good place to eat the pizza. And also that D'Angelo / Papagino's in Norwood was also really good as well. So it's a very good Norwood based and Norwood area locations that we frequented back in those days.
Yeah, great town. Great town. Love that town.
Yeah. So continuing along the evolutionary trail here of our show, we now sort of transition to I think it was spring of 2016, if I'm remembering correctly,
Okay.
that Kyle packed up his stuff from the Norwood house and made the move into more city living in Somerville, apartment number 1, as we'll call it for Kyle. Like I said, based in Somerville, and right down the street, I remember, from Tufts University, which was always a fun area to be in. And we actually recorded, I remember, in a couple of different locations from that apartment. I know sometimes we would do episodes actually on the couch in your sort of den area there, and then sometimes we'd actually film from your bed in your room there. So I mean, I always, yes, I guess sort of, well, I'll let you kick this one off. What were your thoughts on recording at, like I said, apartment number 1 in the life of Kyle Independence, so to speak?
um, so basically, that one to me, I would say, out of all the filming locations, is probably the most difficult. And I'm not saying in like a negative way, but it's just like when you look at the setup. So basically, this was the first apartment I had lived in on my own. But when you live in an apartment, and it wasn't a very big apartment, it was even smaller than the one that my parents and I lived in Wellesley. It was even smaller than that. There were 2 other roommates, and I had to kind of be mindful of their schedule a little more. And so it was a little tricky to film sometimes. Like some days, there were times where they were using the main room, and that we couldn't even film. So I even had to, like, I remember there were a couple times, I think I told you, I was like, oh yeah, I don't think we'll be able to go back and film and stuff like that. And so, and that's why I remember there were times where I think we even used your dad's apartment there, which we'll probably get to a little later.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I honestly would have completely gone right past that if you hadn't reminded me of that. So yes, we will get to that in just a minute here. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, so just no, I mean, and the location itself was fine. We had a really great episode actually with Craig and Scott, where we talked about wrestling. It was the 4 of us in the TV room, and that was one of the most fun episodes I think I have ever filmed in the entire series. In the entire 7-8 years we've done this series. But yeah, the location itself was okay. It wasn't my favorite, and yeah, I did have to be mindful of like the schedule of my other 2 roommates at the time. But you know what? It was what it was. We made the best of it. I did the one plus though I did like was where whenever we pretty much like you can tell when we sat on the couch, you could see like there was a nice like frame of like the Boston skyline in the back.
Yeah.
So I always thought that was kind of a nice touch still.
No, that was a really nice painting there in the background, or photo, whatever. No, it was a photo. This was a
The
photo.
photo, yeah, the photo,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, good pickup on no, I mean, hey, listen, first of all, I always enjoyed, whether it be on your bed in that apartment or on the actual couch, and the fact that we got to have some guests from that couch. I remember we had Craig and Scott on for our little wrestling episode there that we did. That was a lot of fun. But like I said, I always enjoyed recording there, and sort of that whole area. We got to sort of experience a lot of Somerville life and all that, and I always enjoyed that particular location. So, but yeah, so to your point, so yeah, we actually did, as Kyle was saying, have sort of a backup location, so to speak, because my dad at that time still owned a condo in Cambridge, which was literally like a 10-minute drive tops from where Kyle's apartment was in Somerville. And I know my dad was kind of splitting time between there and between the house that he now lives in full time in Wayland. And so we, a lot of times, like especially if things were kind of cramped at Kyle's apartment, we would actually film episodes from my dad's condo. Sort of, he had a couple of couches that he had set up there, and we would go in and use that, and it was really nice. It was very nice and quiet.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah, very very quiet. Lighting wasn't half bad. We kind of had to, I remember, kind of adjust the settings a couple of times on the lights, try to figure out, sort of the perfect lighting there. But no, we had a really good time. Yeah, no, but like honestly, it was a really nice time filming episodes there. And I remember actually we met there a couple of times. Otherwise, like we would park in his parking spaces, and go to like different events, because we would be taking like the red line somewhere or something like that. So we just park there and walk down to Davis Square, which is like again another 5-10 minute walk from there, which is really nice. So cool. So yeah, no, it was a perfectly nice place to film at, and I was very appreciative of being able to use that for some episodes there. So let Kyle sort of dive in with his thoughts now.
Oh yeah, no. So no, I think you pretty much said it right. It was a really cool location, very fancy, definitely one of the fancier ones that I personally filmed at. But also, I remember like that was actually I think that was the only location, or maybe we may have done this a little bit. I think we did this at your house too. I remember that was the first, I think, place we did the Facebook Live. Remember when that was a thing?
Yeah. Yes, we definitely did. We did like post episode Facebook Lives, which was something else. But no, we definitely had some fun with. We definitely had some fun with that.
That was good.
No, definitely, and
but yeah, no,
yeah,
it was nice.
Yeah, no, it really was. It was a good time. I remember we'd be watching like some Red Sox playoff games and stuff like that at the TV there after we got done filming, all that good stuff. So no, it was a really nice time. So now fast forward a couple of years, and Kyle made another move, just pretty much kind of down the road, not too far away, this time to his current house that you see him broadcasting from in all his glory currently from Medford. He moved, in to the house, the apartment or the house, apartment, whatever you want to call it, where he lives right now with some really good people. Shout out to one of his current roommates, Jerome, who has made several appearances here on a Couch Talking Sports. Always a good time with him, and
He'll definitely make an appearance in a future episode, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, no, definitely, very much looking forward to having him on again, and anytime Jerome is on, always a good time. But the Medford abode, so to speak, definitely, again, we've kind of found our little nice, we filmed from a couple different couches in that place. I know we filmed from, our main one has kind of been in this like little room off to the side. That's sort of been the one we filmed the majority of our episodes there in, and then obviously sometimes we've been in the den as well, doing episodes from that particular couch as well. So I've always enjoyed it, being there. It's just a really nice area, sort of very nice quiet street that they live on, and I just like I said, just a nice area to visit, and I'm like I said, just very much enjoyed being able to do episodes there. So Kyle, what are your takeaways, or what's your take here?
I love it. I think it's definitely a much bigger improvement than the apartment that I was in. And it's mainly because of the space. There's a lot of space around, in the place I'm in now, and it's nice because I got a lot of different like areas I can film in. Like this is one of the rooms. I like filming in this room, especially when we do Zoom calls like this. And I got a refrigerator right here that's like literally I can just reach in and grab some whatever drink.
You also have like a halo effect going on over your right shoulder, I must say.
Oh, interesting. Oh, it's probably the light. Yeah, I got a nice little chandelier.
It's just like a bright. It's like a bright white. The way the camera's is like a bright white light that sort of gives off a kind of a halo effect. It's like, Kyle, don't go towards the light. Or it could be that you're just, like angelic almost. You're just angelic right now in that particular location. So I don't know. I could continue.
No, this is actually one of my favorite filming locations as well. I really enjoyed the variety that this has. Like, there's literally been 3 different rooms in this place, that actually 4 if you count my room, that I've used it for, that we filmed in. And I think each of them worked really well. Like, my room and the upstairs I think is better for like Zoom, and like whereas like the downstairs, there's a lot of space on the couches there. Especially when you go in that really quirky kind of like sunroom there. There's like a really strange sunroom that's like, it's super quirky, but it's really cool. I like it. Especially during the summer, you get kind of like a good sense of like the temperature and everything, and that whatever the temperature is outside. Which is why sometimes it's a little tricky to film in the winter, because when it gets really cold, it's just like, oh. But same with the TV room. The TV room's always been a nice place to film. Lots of space in each of these rooms. And the other thing I will say, this is my game room right here. So I just want to give you a quick tour. This is what I'm staring at right here. So
very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good, nice view from where you are.
Oh, thank you. And so this is I like this room a lot because I got a lot of old school games here. So even if I wanted to, which I never do. If you guys are asking, like, oh, does Kyle play video games while he does the show sometimes? And I'm like, yeah, no, I get too distracted. I'd be like sitting here, I'd be like, huh? Well, yeah, what's that, Robbie? Yeah. I love the Yankees. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it wouldn't go so well. So
well, I appreciate it. I mean, I do have a TV that's sort of like set up right next to where I am, so I'm kind of, sometimes I'll be tempted to like watch. Let me see if I can give you a little look here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see. Kyle, let me know if you're actually able to see the TV in this shot, because I'm actually looking at the camera. What?
I can see the little flat screen there. Very cool.
You can see. All right. Yeah. So let me just pull up that. Yeah. So that's my sort of setup there, and I usually have to keep it off because I would be like Yeah, Kyle, definitely. Yeah. Oh, go Red Sox. Yeah. I've been just like completely distracted by whatever game or something, whatever was on while I was recording. Which if you watch my other show, the Sports Blitz with Doug and I, shameless plug. You may have seen me a couple of times sort of engrossed in a sporting event while recording live. So I'm
Nice.
trying to sort of get better at tuning out the distractions, so to speak. But
Tricky. That's what girls would be like.
yes, I know, right? Yeah, seriously. But before we get into sort of the Zoom era, so to speak, of the pandemic era of our filming, there was one other um sort of location that I wanted to touch on, and that was our second walk episode that we took, which was actually back in the late summer of 2019, August of 2019, which was a walk that started at the Wellesley High School football field and went all the way down, basically down the length of Route 135 into Needham Center, and then we sort of took a nice hard left there and ended up at the Needham High School football field. We were kind of reliving some Wellesley Needham memories while making that trek. So Kyle, I guess I'll start with you on this one. Your thoughts on that particular walk episode, which was definitely one of our longer walks, at least for an episode that we had taken, probably one of our longer walks that we had taken period up until that point. Obviously, we've taken some longer walks since then during this last year, but definitely we definitely made our tracks that particular day.
No, I loved it. I thought that was definitely one that might be my favorite walk episode we've done so far out of all of them. And I really liked it. I thought it was cool. Like I feel like we kind of got a bit better of a handle on like how to film like the walk episodes because they're a little tricky sometimes when you like walk and film at the same time. But that's kind of the fun of it. That's why I like doing them. Like I like kind of like having that challenge there. I just loved exploring. I feel like that episode we really took advantage of like filming the locations this time around, even more so than the first time around we did. And because also it was nice because it wasn't like super crowded either. So I feel like that we didn't have to like dodge the camera a lot. Like if there were like too many people walking, like we could just be like, okay, let's just take in this whole location because there really wasn't anyone around who did it. So that was a nice thing too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I really had a good time. I mean, like I said, it was a doable walk, even though it was kind of on the longer side. But like you said, I had a great time doing it. And obviously, it was a perfect day for it, and we got to sort of like really take a trip down memory lane there. We got to go by the Babson baseball field and get some good content from there, and just really
Caterpillar cameo.
Sorry, what?
I said there was also a Caterpillar cameo.
Yes, yep. There was cameos, and you almost walking in the signs, and all the good stuff.
What? Huh, that never happens.
But no, it was a fun. It was a really fun walk episode. And definitely got to see like I said, we got to see some really cool sights and sounds, and just the whole 9 yards. It was the perfect day for it, and we got to eat some good pizza. I remember on the back end of that because I know we were both kind of a little bit tired after walking all that way, but we had like I said, we had a really good time with that particular episode. So definitely more walks to come, more walk episodes to come, as Kyle was alluding to. Those are not going away, folks, for sure. And so obviously now it's sort of time to sort of come into the pandemic era, so to speak, for the last year, which go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
but
go
I feel
ahead.
like there were two very important filming locations that I think we definitely need to at least like just kind of skim upon a little bit. So the
Okay.
other one I wanted to, so when we did the Cape episodes, that was
Oh,
one I wanted
yeah, of
to.
course. Yes, yes, yes. Of course. Sorry. Did not mean to gloss over those. Yeah. So there's been so many, like there's so much, it's like hard to keep track of it all
Yeah.
sometimes on the spot. But yeah, no, you take it over the Cape episodes because yeah, those were some really, really good times over the years.
Yeah, it was fun. So we there would be times where we'd be going down the Cape. We get a nice weekend getaway to the Cape and to Cape Cod and generally in Hyannis. And the couch there was really nice. It was actually was one of the nicest I think locations just when it comes to like because it was the the house we stayed at was like near the beach, so it was really cool. I just like kind of like going down there during the summer. We could just walk to the beach if we wanted to, and
Multiple
we
beaches.
got
There
more
are a
great food places.
couple of different size beaches that you could kind of like walk to from your house and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Like we had like there's like a smaller beach if you walk kind of like through the neighborhood to get there. Smaller beach is great. There's like it's not the water's not quite as deep there, but it's a good beach for like exploring. Whereas like then if we wanted to, we could walk to like the bigger beach, which is technically called Koval Beach. But so you walk there and like that's kind of where if you want to do like more swimming, like the water level's a little higher, so it's a better beach if you want to just like kind of jump in, float, just kind of relax there. But yeah, no, it's a great location, and I always have such a great time going there. And when we go to the games and everything, and hopefully we'll get the chance to the summer as well to get another episode down there. So we'll yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys up to date on that.
It's in the works, folks, for sure. It is in the works. It's on the table. Let's put it that way. It's definitely on the table. So stay tuned.
Yes. Oh, definitely. And the other place I did want to touch upon just a little bit, we've only been there once, but this I really wanted to just kind of go over this really quick because this was such a great opportunity. And this is the first time I feel like we really felt like we were in a very professional kind of like setting. So
Yes.
you know where I'm going with this?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm right there with you.
So back in oh man, this is like what was it, 3, 4 years ago? I gotta remember exactly but we were
2016.
20. Oh, it was 2016. Okay,
2016. Yeah.
so Robbie and I got the chance to be in a crossover episode
Yeah.
with our good friend Craig with his show. So this show, for those of you who don't know who just started watching this show, we actually did have a crossover episode, which kind of blows my mind because those are always some of my favorite episodes in any TV show I watch, especially when it comes to like CW, Arrowverse, Crisis on Infinite Earths, throw Smallville in there, just all that stuff. I love crossing shows over like that. So we did one of our own, and we crossed over our good buddy Craig show, who he had a show going on from like 2013 all the way up until like about 2017 or so. And it was just such a great opportunity because we actually, so the way we formatted the episode there was it was we did it in two ways. So we did it as an on a couch episode. We actually brought the laptop to the studio, and the studio was in Stoneham, and but they also had their professional cameras all lined up. So it was kind of like a weird mishmash of like our style. Like you could, like when you go on the YouTube channels, you can actually watch the episode from our perspective, from our channel, because we still have the full episode, but you just see kind of us. And with once in a while, Craig and other people will show up in the background. But then you can also see the entire episode from their channel. If you look up "It's Not My Show," then you get to see the entire episode all pulled back it was just such a fun opportunity. And I want to give
And
a big thanks to Craig.
on ours, you got to see some sort of behind the scenes stuff as well. You got to see sort of some off stuff that you wouldn't see sort of on their particular show because it kind of happened off camera, like in between segments. So that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, it was one of the most unique I think it may have been the most unique episode we've ever done, to be honest. And we had such a fun time doing it. And we want to thank Craig and and Mike and Joe and the whole crew of that show. I mean, unfortunately, they're not really. The show's not airing anymore.
Yeah.
The show got, they stopped doing the show back in 2017 because it had its run. It was a great show, and it was just such a great it was such a great opportunity. I always remember that, and it was so cool.
No, it really was. It was a great time, and our biggest thanks to Craig and the Craig Show for allowing us to come on and join them for all the episodes that they allowed us to join them on, just in general over the years, but in particular being able to do a crossover episode there. And you actually reminded me of something, Kyle, that we may have both sort of glossed over, but I just remembered, and that is and this is sort of a multi-location review here, but all of our mini golf episodes.
Yeah, wonderful. I feel like that actually should also almost be like maybe its own episode because we got a lot to talk about that one.
I mean, we'll do more sort of a general one because I do want to sort of get into sort of the last year. So I know we're sort of I know we're kind of but anyway, I don't know what I'm trying to say, folks. This is sort of one of those rare moments where you see somebody just completely lose a train of thought in mid-sentence and try to recover and just it goes nowhere, folks. So but yeah, mini golf episodes.
Mini golf.
I mean, because I think we literally recorded from I can't even, because we've done like multiple episodes, like sort of the same courses, but we've done a few different courses because we've done the one down on the Cape, we did the one up in Middleton, we did the one in Dedham, we did the one in Natick. Trying to think if there were any others that we did. Oh, the indoor golf place in Norwood. So yeah, there were a bunch of them, and they were all like just so much fun to be at, and always very exciting, episodes and all that good stuff, and always had very good weather for them. I remember we did do one where we started outdoors, but then a thunderstorm came, so we actually had to move indoors, which is pretty wild, and saw a pretty epic lightning show on the way back, if I remember correctly, which is pretty wild. So that was good time.
So we got the camera proof and everything. So it's honestly, I think that was one of my favorite episodes that I've ever edited. I love editing those mini golf episodes because it's like Robbie and I just have so much fun. Just like we each take turn like passing off the camera, and we get to like catch some really cool shots of us just like doing epic putts, or just like getting like seeing the ball ricochet everywhere. Like it's really cool. Like it's those episodes are my favorite ones. So yeah.
Absolutely agree. Any thoughts on the other sort of the other, besides that particular episode, like any of the other mini golf locations that we filmed at?
So let's see. Because that's why we went to Monster Golf, I think, during that particular one. But the other ones, I really like the one in Dedham a lot. Sorry, that's my phone. I'm not doing that.
You see, Kyle buzzes sometimes in real life, folks. He just starts vibrating. So he's a very vibrant personality.
But no, it was good. It was good. It was I like McGolf. I think that's and also the one by Richardson's, up north that we went to.
Yep, Middleton. Yep, good old Middleton. Yeah.
Middleton. Yeah.
Definitely got to go back there at some point because that was always a good time.
Yeah, we'll go soon.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's like I said, just always fun episodes to shoot. It's part of our little mini golf mini series that we did. Always a good time, and the one down in the Cape too is always a fun place. I know. We've talked about that place a few times,
Party.
but yeah, it's always a good time.
Big Thunder, no, Lightning Falls, whatever that one,
Yeah,
Lightning Falls, I think it was,
yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah, or it used to be called that. It's now another name. I think it's like Dave and Sue's or whatever, but it's great course.
Agreed, agreed. But I did want to get into the sort of pandemic era of our show a little bit because obviously we've kind of had to adapt and adjust our locations and our means of filming. And basically the way I want to kind of do it in sort of a general sense because we've sort of had three different platforms that we sort of have used for On a Couch during the pandemic. Because obviously we already talked about sort of my basement, which we did for one episode. But basically we've done episodes on Zoom, obviously that you folks have seen, where I'll be in my room and Kyle will be in his room, etc. We've also done in a car episodes, which were, kind of an interesting. We'd be in various parking lots or driveways around the area filming, which was kind of an interesting, sort of takeoff on things. And then we also have done a couple walk episodes where literally we've been at the Chestnut Hill Reservoir. Great location. If you're ever looking for a great walking location, just, a nice sort of short loop walk around a beautiful, reservoir in a nice area. Chestnut Hill Reservoir over by BC is the go-to. We always really enjoy just walking over there in general, but also being able to film some walk episodes as well. So we've had a really, we're just happy and lucky that we've been able to continue the show even during the last year. And we've sort of adapted it and adjusted it in order to keep going, but obviously be cognizant of what is going on in the world over the last year. So Kyle, just sort of, when you sort of think back to the last year in general, between the walks and the car episodes and obviously doing, the majority of our recordings through Zoom, just sort of what are your thoughts on that whole process?
Honestly, so it was definitely a bit of a jump because we've never done it in this format before, so we weren't really used to it, like doing it through Zoom or any kind of recording, type of app like this. So, but after once we got the hang of it, honestly, it didn't really take that long. I feel like it only took what about like an episode or two to kind of really get the hang of it. But once we kind of roll with the punches, it was a very easy process. And I liked that we still had the show too, because Robbie and I, when the pandemic happened last March, we both pretty much got furloughed from our jobs for a bit. So it was kind of nice to have actually the show as something to look forward to, at least once a week, where we could just kind of meet up online, and we could just, we can get our topics going like we normally do, but just through the Zoom format. And it honestly, I'd say for the most part, it went very smoothly, with the occasional, hiccups with Wi-Fi and all that stuff, and Robbie's computer crashing.
My computer being a jackass, which is why I'm now doing my episodes from a tablet, which is working far better in terms of the glitch department than my computer was. Although, I mean, you do kind of have to deal with a little bit of a difference in camera angle, but all things considered, definitely a nice to actually be able to get through full episodes, like I said, without the fear of it crashing mid-episode. So, and Zoom also is really cool in the sense it'll save any recording that you do, even if your computer crashes or something like that. It'll save the content you've already done, so you don't need to go back and do an entire episode over again. You can just sort of pick up right where you left off. I think that's sort of been a saving grace on multiple occasions during these virtual filmings.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. I didn't realize that until I remember the first time episode crashed, and when you were telling me that they saved whatever footage we've done, it made editing so much easier. Because it's like, okay, I can just kind of like, pick up where we left off and just, edit the two clips together, whatever we had, and then whatever we started from, like from when the video crashed and all that stuff. So it was nice to have that, and it was nice. It was a nice setup. And yeah, I gotta say, Zoom, they know what they're doing.
100%. Any sort of thoughts on the car and walk episodes we've done during this time?
Oh yeah, the car episodes were kind of fun. I did enjoy that because the cool thing about filming in the car is that you can actually, the key thing they always said about, I know, when even when you're wearing a mask, like during the COVID era, is like the ventilation. So like the good thing about the car is that the trick that I use is whenever we do a car episode, I'd roll the back windows down so then the air could just kind of go out, so we could still have the episode like we were on the couch, but like we could, in like a nice properly ventilated area, which was kind of cool.
So safely, yes.
And it was, those are pretty easy too. They were just as easy as, obviously when we were on the couch, we just had to wear the masks. But other than that, no big deal. It was fine. We made do with what we had, and it was just kind of fun filming in the car because there were times where we just pick random parking lots, or I don't know, we just like we'd be like, okay, where do you want to film this time? I don't know, Davis Square. We do
in my driveway, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and the good thing about the car is that it had some decent enough lighting, and even if it was a little too dark, we could like kind of, at least in post, fix it in post, as they say, and we could just kind of expand the lighting a bit, which is kind of nice. So yeah, no, I like filming the car, and yeah, and the walk episodes those are fun. They were it was cool having, like, going back to that style of episodes, and I was a little rusty when it came to like holding the camera in certain ways, and we did have to dodge a couple times where I think like there were a lot of people, because it was actually a very warm day, like the days that we filmed, but it was still fun because like I just like kind of like doing I don't know, just like filming outside. It kind of gave a nice change of scenery, which is really cool. So, and we also filmed it during sunset, which gave some really beautiful shots. We really tried to take advantage of the location there. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's been a good time, and you're right about one thing. It really has sort of given us something to look forward to each week, even during the more difficult times, during this pandemic. But it's been a lot of fun. It has been a lot of fun, and I wouldn't change it for anything, because it means that we still, I still get together, even if virtually, once a week with, one of my best friends, and record an episode of a show that means so much to me. And it's just a really, really, it's just so much fun. It's just so much fun, and can't wait to, sort of continue on with the episodes, which brings me to, I'm going to segue here. Brings me to my final thoughts, such a very exciting, very important On a Couch Talking Sports announcement. Starting next week, folks, On a Couch Talking, for the first time since March, I want to say 18th. I think I got that date right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Since like March 18th, 2020. On a Couch Talking Sports will be back on a couch, folks. That's right. Next Wednesday night. Because as of next Wednesday, both Kyle and myself will be in that lovely, prestigious category of being fully vaccinated individuals. And so to celebrate, we are coming back, folks. We're coming back to the couch. We are coming back to in-person episodes on the couch together. We just could not be happier. It's been a long year plus, of Zooming and walking, and it's been great. Believe me, it's been fun to be able to keep the show going. But we're on a couch talking sports.
I almost on a Zoom talking sports or in a car talking sports. You almost did that.
We are on a couch talking sports, folks. That's in our name. It's in our blood. It's how the show has made its name over the last 7+ years. And finally, after a long wait, we are coming back to the couch. Next week, we will be back to doing consistent on a couch episodes. We definitely will still be doing walk episodes. And the nice thing about having Zoom available to us is like if we can't get together in person like a particular week due to schedules or whatever, we still have the Zoom capabilities to film a virtual episode. We sort of learned that trick during this time, which has been great. But I think we both would agree that we have missed being on a couch very much and are very excited to finally be able to bring it back to you starting next week. It's going to be fun. It's going to be real. And I just can't wait, Kyle. I can't come soon enough as far as I'm concerned.
It's a nice way to cap off the month, and we weren't sure exactly when to announce it, but we were talking about it for a little while, and we were thinking, what? I think the timing works out really well. So yeah, I'm excited about this too. So let's do it.
Yep, we're back, folks. We're back. We can't wait to be back with you from an actual couch next time we talk. So that's the Robbie final thought of the week. So now it is time to transition over to another part of the state, Medford, for the Sue's reviews of the week. That was a really weird transition. I immediately regretted it. But it's time for the Sue's review. That worked out so much better in my head than actually came out my mouth. So, but yeah, it is time. It is time for another edition of the Sue's reviews. Kyle, take it away.
All right. So this week, I know last week I teased that I was going to do the Justice League 4-hour version because yes, that is a thing. There is a 4-hour cut of Justice League, and they call it Zack Snyder's Justice League. So just a quick synopsis on that. So what happened was, because you're probably thinking, wait, wasn't there a Justice League movie back in 2017? Well, yes, there was, but it wasn't the original version. What happened was Zack Snyder had to step down due to an unfortunate family tragedy, and he wasn't able to finish the movie. So what happened was they got Joss Whedon to finish the movie, and even though they credited Zack Snyder as the director, it really wasn't his movie. Yes, they used the footage that he made, but it was not his movie. It wasn't his vision. It felt kind of sillier. It felt kind of more patched together. It didn't feel like a cohesive film. And the tone was so off. Like, you look at Zack Snyder's first 2 movies that he did was, with Man of Steel, and then followed by Batman v Superman. And then you watch Justice League in 2017, you're thinking, wait, this is not the same. This isn't a Zack Snyder movie. No way. It's like, it just kind of felt too silly and too over the top. So what happened was, and the studio had just interfered so much that they finally, after a lot of people were really rallying on the internet, they said, hey, release the real cut to this movie. They finally did. And it's a 4-hour superhero epic. And honestly, it improves everything that the 2017 version had. It's a much bigger improvement. To me, it's way more cohesive. The story makes more sense. The villain is more fleshed out this time around. The villain was really lame in the first movie, Steppenwolf. Like, people were like, what's your deal, dude? And no one really got why he was there. He was just kind of there, like, swinging his axe, and no one really cared. But in this movie, they actually explain, like, why he's there. And I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but it has to do with him trying to redeem himself for something. And I thought that was really cool. And they just never went over that in the other movie, and they actually fleshed out more characters this time around. So Justice League, for those of you who don't know, it's a DC superhero movie. It's kind of like the Avengers, but for DC. I know everyone knows everything about Marvel and Justice League. A lot of those characters have been around for so long, but the problem that they had in the first movie was they didn't really flesh out a lot of the characters enough. People already knew who Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman were, but when characters like Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash came in, they just kind of showed up and that was it. This movie, they actually take the time to explain why they're there, and it has a lot more emotional resonance, for all these characters, and you really care about them, and they have actual story arcs this time. And yes, granted, it's 4 hours long. It's a long movie. It's gonna take you probably a while to get through it, and that's understandable. But I think it's worth a trip. I think if you like superhero movies, and if you were disappointed with 2017's Justice League, it's a different movie, and it feels more like Zack Snyder's style of movie. And I think overall, it's a really great epic. And I think they did a good job at just tying everything, into one cohesive movie this time around. And yeah, no, I highly recommend. If you're bored, if you're looking for something new to watch, definitely check that movie out. Granted, you will have to dedicate an afternoon if you plan to watch the entire movie, but good news is it's split up into chapters, so you can segment it, however way you want to watch it. So yeah, it's a fun movie. It's really cool. It has a bit more levity this time around too, so there are more funnier scenes that there were in, like, especially in Batman v Superman, which I thought took itself way too seriously. But this movie, I thought, had a good tone. It had a good balance. It just was a good movie. So check it out.
Very good. Well, thank you, Kyle, as always, for that riveting review. And hopefully, you folks will take Kyle's word for it and go see that. So. Again, Kyle, thank you for that, as always. And thank you to folks at home for tuning in, as always, for another exciting edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. And like I said, we are so excited that we are going to be back on a couch with you beginning next week. So get ready, folks. It's coming. We can't wait. So until then, for Kyle, I'm Robbie, signing off for On a Couch Talking Sports, and we will see you next time. Yep, there you are, magically making that seltzer appear again. We'll see you next time here on a Couch Talking Sports. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, Robbie, I'm all out of seltzer. No.